All right, it is time for our beloved Patreon exclusive segment in the Zeitgeist, where our guest tells us about a time that they were extremely on trend. So, Neale, what is a moment in your life when you have been just in the white hot center of the Zeitgeist?
Man, I'm totally unprepared for this question.
Good. So some examples from past episodes, folks were like, "Oh, I was really into One Direction when they were hot."
Yeah.
I would say that the Wicked Zeitgeist, I am like deep. I am deep
Yeah.
in the Wicked Zeitgeist.
Karen Thompson told us that she was on trend with the swing revival.
Yeah. Or like American Apparel. It's not one, but is one where like I feel like we've had people kind of circle that idea.
Mm-hmm. So like something was trendy and you were like, yes.
Okay, so this is an example of something where I was ahead of the trend and then I, as a hipster, stopped it when it became too popular.
Being a hipster, you did it. If you were a hipster, you did it. That was when you were on trend.
Which is actually, I'm going to say retro gaming.
Okay.
So about 20 years ago or so, it was very, very easy to obtain old gaming systems for extremely low amounts of money and old video games because in 2004, the early 90s were just recent enough to be not interesting to the majority of people. And I remember so distinctly buying like a Commodore 64, Sega Genesis, an original Nintendo, a PlayStation 1 or whatever for like $10 at the local thrift store and amassing this library of games, playing all these older games. I did this because I was a real frequenter of thrift stores at around the time that I was kind of exiting high school. And then in the past 20 years, that has become such a rarefied hobby of collectors that it's become untenably expensive. It's become another thing that corporations have turned to their advantage when it was previously a way of gaming without paying corporations money. And I gave up on it completely when 20 years ago you would have found me playing a lot of these things that are now the big things. And I do think the internet has a lot to do with that too.
Internet has a lot to do with a lot of things.
A lot.
Shocking.
Do you have any of your old gaming systems still?
You know what? I actually lost most of them except my old Super Nintendo I still have.
In the robbery?
Yeah, sadly.
That's like, I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize
it's really not funny, but the way they both were just like,
the robbery!
Coach, the robbery!
Do you know what's so silly? I was just thinking to myself, I didn't realize that this was like a famous incident in my life. But then I realized I talk about it in the book. It's in the book. It's in the dedications of the book that at some point about 10 years ago, I was robbed of a very large chunk of physical stuff that I had collected over the years. But but I just remember that really distinctly that when I was a teenager, that stuff was dirt cheap. It was of no interest to anyone. It was totally in the secondary thrift economy of garbage. Basically, I think of thrift as you're interrupting it on the way to garbage. And now it's like this gigantic industry. It's like streamers do this all the time. It's corporations themselves make money off of it. And I just have no interest in it anymore.
That's so fair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's the end of In the Zeitgeist, though I have many more questions. I'm sorry you were robbed 10 years ago. It's terrible.
I actually did get a really large insurance payment out of that, so I can't really say. Like,
you should go back and be like, my gaming systems would be worth more now, so give me more money.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay,